a lot of you guys need to take a page out of TJ's book. He hasn't played a game yet. The kid shows up every day, doesn't complain, works his butt off, never, and is just waiting for his opportunity. He's going to get it. And fortunate enough, 2 guys go down, all of a sudden gets called back up to Cedar Rapids. He's running the second power play unit. He's playing over all these guys that are committed. Now he's got, 8, 9 schools after him, right? And his biggest knock was a lot of schools were just like, we want to see him play in USHL and see how he handles himself. And he was able to play, like I said, and now he's trying to, slowly starting to reap the rewards a little bit, right? But he also knows too that like now he needs to back it up because Carlson like really went on a limb for him, and it's crazy. Like you would pull up their pregame scouting thing, literally every D committed except for him, and I think there's one other forward that wasn't committed. So there's like 2 kids on the team that are not committed to all these massive D1 schools. And I'm like, that's most people would be like, look at that as a bad way. I looked at my brother-in-law, like, dude, this is the best thing ever for you. Because guess what? When all these schools are coming, they can only watch you, right? You're the only one not committed. They can watch their one guy, but they're only going to be able to watch you. You're going to have every guy in the eyes, everyone in the rink, eyes on you. So you need to perform every night because you never know who's there watching, right? And I think that's the other things too. Like when I committed to Quinnipiac, Ben Sire, who was the coach at Cornell, and Scott Robson, who I forget what he's coaching, like in youth or doing some pro scouting stuff now, but I actually got recognized by them in practice. It wasn't in a game. They flew in, they got an early flight out, and they just happened to get to the rink early and catch our practice, and we were doing battle drills. And like I didn't lose a battle drill, and and then I played well that weekend. But that's like when they first saw me, and they're like, the first time we actually laid eyes on you was in practice. I had no idea they were there, right? You never know who's in the stands, right? Or sitting around in the corner and stuff like that. So that's kind of like I said, that's the mentality of you can't always just train when people are watching, right? Because you never know who's watching.
Same time too. I mean, even if you get a random family or even a lady that doesn't know much about hockey at all, like her son plays basketball, but she knows hockey people, like she'll be connected in some sort of way, and she'll be like, oh yeah, David Marshall played awesome this weekend. I don't know him, but I knew his number 22, and he looked unbelievable there. He was giving her every shift. He had so many opportunities. He got 1 goal. Probably could have scored 5, but she'll remember that, and she'll be able to pass it on to people in the hockey world or community, and then they start getting interested after that. Even going back to your point about your brother-in-law too, working out with you for many years now, even including Quinnipiac, it sounds like. It's even the fact that he was willing to, I guess job shadow you, really go through it, workouts, waking up at 5:45 in the morning, getting to the rink at 6:30, I think you said. I pass on a lot of these kids at all levels. We're talking even like 10-year-olds, like, over here, we're setting our schedules. Yeah, they go to school, totally understand. That's really important, and probably most important is their homework and school. But, they go through early morning practices maybe once every 2 weeks here, at least, I think, maybe once a week. But you can get up a second time in that week or third time in that week at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. earlier before going to school, doing stick handling before, or shooting, or even a workout of push-ups to do extra before your day even starts and before you go to school. Just that early, getting up early, getting your work done, then doing what you need to do the rest of the day.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a consistency thing. So.
Yeah. Youth hockey, Peewee and Bantam, things that you'd like to pass on from a learning experience for yourself.
I mean, for me, like I said, like I think the biggest thing right now is for youth people, and if you're not the best on a team, it's not set in stone, right? You need to constantly be getting better and continuously do better, as you're maturing, right? And you're going to mature at a different rate than everyone else. But you But like I said, you need to constantly be getting better at what you're doing and adjusting and starting to build that constant and laying the groundwork for your, as you mature and stuff like that. And like I said, most people aren't going to play past high school. It's just the way the facts are. There's so many junior leagues now. Yeah, you may be able to prolong it a little bit and stuff like that, and play D3 or a club and stuff like that. So I think that's where we talk about, like, what we're absorbing out of it at that youth level, right? Not just on the hockey side of it, but just, as structuring these young males and female athletes coming out, right? It is one of the biggest four things I think that we could probably talk about. But like I said, when you're that young, I think everyone buys into, like, oh, I'm doing a little bit of extra and stuff like that. But nowadays, everyone's doing it. I mean, you can go on YouTube and every kid has a channel, right? And shows their workout and showing their stick handling and showing all this stuff. So you're not the only one in the boat. So you just need to, when you're doing it, have a clear path. Like, don't just go down and stick handle randomly, right? Have, like, the night before, do a little research, right? Hey, watch like some of these NHL guys, or you watch some of the NHL trainers and skills guys on YouTube, what their drills are doing it, and then apply 2 or 3 of those drills into your thing. Don't just aimlessly go down and like get down the basement and just like look around and be like, okay, like pull a couple pucks, shoot a couple pucks, one time it, I'm gonna take it to my backhand, do a couple of that. You know what I mean? And then, okay, I'm done. See you later. That was my extra work, right? You want to have a clear direction set before you even step in. And I think that's one of the things that I always try to do, especially in the gym and stuff like that. Like, you can't just go down to the gym without having like an actual workout written out with your weights on it, right? So you're not dilly-dallying around and being like, hey, I'm going to do a couple leg squats today, a couple bench presses here and there, but I'm not going to record anything, so I don't know if I'm getting better, right? So having a notebook or having a stat sheet, there's so many things online now that you can print and be able to handwrite in like what your weights are and stuff like that, and watching yourself progress, right? But that's the other thing. It's like we all want to work hard, but we also want to see results. And the other thing is this too, is like, especially in the weight room, like a lot of times you're not seeing results until like 3 months in. So I think a lot of people get discouraged in that first. I mean, even as adults, right? We try these diets, or we try and do these different workouts and stuff like that. We're like, oh, it's 3 weeks in. What the heck? I'm still the same weight. What's going on, right? It's persistence, and it takes like 2-3 months to really, and then 6 months to really start seeing that development. But it's got to be, it can't be sporadic, right? It has to be designed and almost robotic, right? Like, these are my lifts. These are what I'm going to stay in for this amount of months. And I'm going to rotate this, work different parts of my body, and continue to grow. And then you start seeing those gains, right, that everyone talks about 3, 4, 5 months in. But you need to start that young. And if you start that young, right, you'll continually follow through. It's so hard to just try and flip that switch when you're 19, 20 and be like, okay, I really never worked out. Now I got to work out all the time because everyone's working out, and I can't just rely on my skill. And I'm also playing now 60, it's not going to hold up, and I'm playing contact at all time because these guys are, grown men that I'm, right? So, you look at it, like, especially if you go to college route, like if you're a 19-year-old coming into college, you could possibly be playing against 23-year-olds, right? And then even as a pro, right? If you go pro, like NHL guy, like you're allowed to play at 19 in the NHL, right? You're going to be playing against 27, 28-year-old grown men, right? So if you're not able to, you can't just rely on the skill side of it. And there's still guys that a lot of NHL teams get that have never even really structurally sat foot in a gym or off ice or mentally and stuff like that. So building that early, I think, is one of the biggest things in the youth programs we can do.
Yeah, for sure. See it the same way. I mean, maturity, just talking with these players as well is you don't have to be, Mr. 35-year-old when you're 16 years old, but you got to know and go through this experience of how to handle yourselves around these other players that you're going to be around. You don't want to, yes, we all act as teenagers and all that, but when it comes to be serious time and getting ready for the game or whether it's something that you've never been, like a setting that you've never been in, you just got to know how to act. Maybe the owner's in town. Maybe the owner's in town for dinner that he's putting on, and you got to know how to act in
Yeah.
in front of not only him but the manager and the full team. Right? There's so many different things that we learn.
Yeah, and it's always being respectful of everything, and that's what we talked about a little bit, like transitioning from what I took from hockey into what I do now, and what we've talked about. People just want to be able to like have a conversation and trust you and stuff like that. And as youth players, like, and I wish that was the one thing we would do better as youth is teach these kids how to have those conversations and with adults and arena staff and the respect factor. And that's one of the reasons I love the game, because I think hockey brings one of the most like respectful group of people together. Hockey parents get a little crazy, but I really think that the kids playing it really understand like a respect factor in the game. So getting them to understand that is going to carry on later in life too. So
yeah, but I guess you'd say this is a biased comment, but many hockey players and families, it's great, one of the greatest sports in the world, and you just learn so much from it, and there's so many good people around it, type thing. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Dave, for coming on and sharing your experiences with all of us and educating the followers. So hopefully have you on again soon, and thanks again.
Yeah, no problem, Walker.